And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day. You see the title of the video. We are going to talk about why leadership is one of the most important aspects of winning that they don't really bring up as much as they need to, especially when comparing the superstars, especially when you're comparing your Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, or your Kobe versus LeBron James, or anybody who thinks that LeBron James should be ranked amongst the greats. Leadership is not something that they often bring up. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get to the super thanks, but this time we're actually going to do it towards the end of the video. And so without further ado, let's check out this clip of Michael Jordan, the GOAT, telling a story about Luc Longley.
He may not like this story. In '98, we're playing the Utah Jazz. The first quarter ends. Luc has 12 points, 4 blocks, and 4 rebounds. And I go to Luc, I say, that's how you f***ing play, man. You do that, we dominate. We up by 16 at the end of the game. Luc had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 blocks. We're winning by 16, we lose by 15. And I just looked at Luc and I said, you know what, Luc? That is the last time I'm gonna give you a compliment in the middle of the game.
And so, yeah, so that was a quick, short story. Michael Jordan telling a story about Luc Longley. Now, I actually went back and checked the actual numbers. So the numbers are a bit off. And I actually checked this a while back, so I can't remember exactly what they were. But the numbers are a bit off a bit. But the general story is accurate. So he's basically saying that Luc Longley started off the game well. You know, he gave him a compliment. It's like, yeah, man, that's how you do it. That's how we dominate. And from that point on, Luc's performance slacked off tremendously. And so, yeah, this is why the leadership thing is so important. Because, again, because of the Duck, because of the leader of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, we're in this age where, like, the whole, teams win championships. You know, this is, when you want to talk about Michael Jordan being 6-0 with 2 3-peats, it's teams that win championships. But when you want to talk about 2016 with LeBron James doing the so-called greatest comeback, well, that's LeBron James. But the fact is teams with great leaders win championships. Great leaders win championships. Great leaders make businesses successful. And again, obviously, there's always exceptions to the rule. But if we're talking about in general, great leaders is what bring success. And why is that? Because at the end of the day, to me, what it really comes down to is how consistently you can maintain the ultimate focus. And part of that is going to be, how important do you view the task at hand? See, Michael Jordan took the game of basketball extremely serious. And if you take something extremely serious, then your attention to detail, your focus on it, is going to be more intense than someone else who doesn't take it as serious. So the importance of a good leader is making sure that everybody is on the same page. Everybody understands how serious the task at hand is, so that everybody is constantly putting their best foot forward and maintaining that focus throughout the entire game. This is what a good leader does. And to me, this is why a lot of players, even though they may be extremely skilled, can't lead a team. This is why you have your Kevin Durant's. This is why you have your LeBron James, who need other super talented players on his team to make it happen, versus Michael Jordan, who can turn the less than average players, who can get them to rise above what they would normally be capable of, because again, the team takes on the personality of his leader, and Michael Jordan takes the game of basketball very serious. Again, to me, I've said this over and over, and I'll keep saying it. It is your motivation behind what you do. It is how serious, how important what you do, how important you view it, that will determine the amount of attention that you give it, the amount of intensity in which you do it. And a good leader is going to instill that mindset throughout the rest of the team. Because again, you got to think of it this way. And I challenge some of you all to do this. Just go back and look at the numbers from championship winning teams, and you will be surprised at how similar a lot of the numbers is. As far as, you have your superstar who normally averages the most, and then you have your secondary star who's next, who could be, I'll say in the, between 16 to 20 point range ish, depending on how high the superstar is. And then you got the rest of the role players who average and vary from game to game. But if you go and look at a lot of the championship winning teams, you will notice how similar the numbers is. So my point in saying is that if you are good enough to make it to the NBA, that means your skill level was good enough to get you there. But what separates you, what separates one role player to be a better role player than another, in my opinion, has more to do with the mental aspect. What makes one all-star better than another has more to do with the mental aspect. And what makes one superstar greater than another has more to do with the mental aspect. Now, this is not saying that the athleticism and those different things don't play a part. But again, to me, how serious you take the game is what's going to kind of drive everything else. How serious you take the game is what's going to drive your own personal work ethic as far as filling in the holes in your game. How serious you take the game is what's going to drive your leadership to say that, hey, if you playing with me, I need you to take the game just as serious so that we can achieve this goal, because this goal is all that matters to me. This is life and death for me. So if it's not for you, this is going to be a problem. We're going to have some problems here. So this is the importance of leadership. So when you talk about LeBron James and his multiple failures and his constant need for help, well, what you're really pointing out is his lack of leadership. You're pointing out his lack of ability to make his players understand how serious it is. But here's the thing is, the game of fanboys, brace yourself for this. The game of basketball is not that serious to LeBron James. Again, because what LeBron James really wants is the praise. LeBron James places the need for praise over the actual need to win. Like LeBron James' motivation, and this is my opinion, so fanboys cry in the comments if you want. LeBron James' motivation for winning is to get the praise. But Michael Jordan's need to win was, again, it was almost more of a sickness. Like he had to win. So like the only thing that he got out of bed for is to win. And so this is the mindset that a Michael Jordan-led team had. Whereas LeBron James, and we've heard teammates of LeBron James, specifically J.R. Smith, say that, hey, when you're playing with LeBron James, it's pretty much what you are doing to help him win or what you're not doing to help him win. This is what J.R. Smith said. And we all know how LeBron James reacted to J.R. Smith during that 2018 blunder that J.R. had. So yeah, but anyway, this is a short video for that part. But I just thought that was a great story, and I thought that was a great thing to point out why the leadership aspect is, because the leader is what sets the tone of like, how serious is this to you? Not only how serious, but it's also making you play up to your best, making you maintain that focus through all 48 minutes of the game. Which I guess if Adam Silver has his way in the future, maybe it'll get down to 40 minutes a game that they have to maintain this concentration. But yeah, when we're having all these discussions, or when mainstream media is having these discussions and they're very comfortable with talking about LeBron James needing help, this is the thing that doesn't get brought up. And yeah, the leadership aspect, teams with good leaders, that's who are the most successful. Just like businesses, just like music groups, just like anything you can think of. It takes a good leader to lead to victory to get that consistency. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the super thanks from the week. First up, shout out to @Derek7759. This is coming from my LeBron James last dance with the Lakers. And this video was basically talking about if we're going to give mainstream media the benefit of the doubt and say that LeBron James truly didn't know anything. Again, I can't believe that. But if we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he did, then maybe this is truly the Lakers saying that, hey, LeBron James no longer controls the organization. We have taken LeBron James' hands off of our throats and taken control back. But anyway, shout out to @Derek7759. He comes through with the $5 super thanks, and he says, at 9 minutes, LBJ saying him knowing about the trade was effing lies. I wish he would keep that same energy and say that the Balco and Diddy allegations on him are all effing lies too. Indeed. Yeah, this is, well, I mean, I feel like that speaks volumes. Just like he could take the 10 seconds that it took him to type that comment about the trade, that it bothered him so much. I guess I guess the allegations about Diddy and the juice don't really bother him that much. So he has no need to respond. But hey, don't let anybody say he knew about that Anthony Davis trade. He got to respond to that right away, people. He has to let us know that is some effing lies right there. But yeah, you know, the Balco and the Diddy allegations, that's not important. There's no need for him to respond to that. Or he's probably more concerned that if he responds to that, somebody will come out with some undeniable proof. Maybe that's what he's afraid of. Because the evidence around it, to me, is enough to point to the fact that it is more than likely true. Obviously, I can't say so with 100% certainty, but it's a lot of coincidences around the juice. It's a lot of coincidences around those Diddy allegations. But anyway, shout out to @Derek7759. Thank you so much for the $5 super thanks. Thank you so very much for supporting the channel. Next up, shout out to @Josh Williams. 2437, he comes through with the $2 super thanks. He says, "Hey brother, I appreciate the content. Now I know your video isn't about this, but I just so happened to see the news about Kyle Kuzma getting traded, and it occurred to me in everything the media outlets were saying, they never mentioned the bubble ring, and I think that's because they know it doesn't mean much. But when it's a discussion about LeBron and his greatness, the bubble ring was major. Just thought that was funny." Well, yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it, to say that they never mentioned it as it pertains to Kyle Kuzma because they know it doesn't mean much. But I think also is that whenever they're talking about LeBron James teammates, especially when they're talking about teammates where they know they won't get any backlash for not mentioning it, they tend to try to downplay everything about LeBron James teammates. This is just par for the course. They never want to give LeBron James teammates credit because everything that good that happens to LeBron is all because of LeBron. You know, like I said, unless it's like a D Wade, which there's no way you can mention Miami and not mention D Wade, even though LeBron James fans also try to downplay the importance of D Wade. LeBron James himself said that, hey, if he didn't go to Miami, it wouldn't have really affected his career. He still would have been dominant, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, like I said, this is just par for the course. Yeah, it's nothing new here. But anyway, shout out to Josh Williams, 2437. Thank you so very much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for supporting the channel. Next up, shout out to Story Games 8520, and this is coming from the Lakers Dallas trade conspiracy. Did LeBron James know? He says, "I'm not really buying the LeBron James wanting to own a team idea. It was already made clear that the NBA doesn't want LeBron James to own an NBA team due to his antics. Maybe he still wants to try his hand, and if that doesn't work, he can take over the new basketball league that his buddy Maverick Carter is trying to invest in. However, if it really is true that LeBron is trying to own what would be the Las Vegas Mavericks, this would be disgraceful and shameful on the NBA's part to allow this. He would be stepping on an entire franchise worth of fans for his own selfish interests." Well, if that was the case, would that really be a surprise, though? Would that really be a surprise, or would that just be LeBron James' method of operation? I mean, this is what he does. Stepping on an entire franchise worth of fans for his own selfish interests. Lakers fans out there, sound off. We know this guy has hijacked your organization and has turned it into a circus. But yeah, and like I said, in that video, you know, I was just presenting some of the theories that were out there. I don't know what to believe, but like I said, the one thing that I will say is it would be hard to convince me that LeBron James knew nothing about this trade. Now, it could be very well that he didn't know anything about this trade. And yeah, I've also heard, like you were saying, I've heard that the NBA doesn't want LeBron to own the team, but just because the NBA doesn't want him to own the team, somebody like LeBron James, who is used to getting his way, I can still see him trying his best to wiggle his way into ownership, even if it's not possible. You know, everything he might do may be in vain because the NBA just is not going to allow that to happen. But for somebody who is not used to getting told no, it wouldn't surprise me if he's still trying to figure out a way to see if he can wiggle his way into that position. But again, these are just some theories out there. Who knows? But shout out to Story Games 8520. Thank you so very much for the $2 super thanks, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And next up, Shout out to @SwanDaily. This is coming from my LeBron James officially ended the NBA this year. Yeah, from now on, people. Shout out to the viewer who commented it in my comments when I did the live about a week ago. Said NBA should be not basketball anymore, and that's exactly what I'm gonna start calling it. Because this year has been an absolute. It's been an absolute circus. I think it's been more of a circus than any of us could have anticipated. But shout out to @SwanDaily. He says, we need to hear that Paul George roast session. As a Sixers fan, I'm very frustrated that he plays for Philly now. Yeah, I do need to get around to doing a video about Paul George. If I'm being honest, like, I really don't even know how to feel about that guy. You know, it's almost like I almost feel as disgusted as I do about LeBron James, except for LeBron James is the face of all of this, you know. But again, I don't know. This is so rampant in the NBA right now that it's just ridiculous. You know, your Ben Simmons, your Paul George, Joel Embiid, Zion Williamson. It's just like a plethora of players who do not take the game seriously. And it's just, it's really mind-blowing. But yeah, Paul George, Podcast P, you know, to me, like, get out of the NBA and just do your podcast 24/7. You seem to take podcasting more serious than you take your NBA job at this point. And I'm starting to really feel like maybe this guy has been somewhat overrated the whole time. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Paul George. But it's starting to feel like that maybe this guy has been somewhat overrated the whole time. And I think this is I will say this. To me, this is just prime example of when you are paying people on potential versus what they've earned. When you're paying people on potential because you see that they got some skills, you know, and they've shown you that they got some skills, but they haven't really earned anything yet. And when you pay people off potential, to me, what you get is a bunch of players who don't take the game seriously. You get a bunch of players who think they've already arrived, who think because, oh, I signed this $50 million check, I'm Michael Jordan now. I signed this $50 million check, I'm Kobe Bryant now. I'm obviously that good. Look how much money they gave me. And so, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I have to do a video on that. It's a sad day when it is this many players to talk about in the NBA who just don't take the game seriously and don't feel any obligation to take the game seriously. But again, it's the NBA's fault, or the not basketball anymore. And last but shout out to @SwanDaily. Thank you so very much for the $2 super thanks. Thank you so very much for continuing to support the channel. And last but not least, shout out to channel member Dr. Les Barrett 921. And this is coming from the same video about LeBron James officially ended the NBA this year. And he simply says thanks, and thank you so very much for being a channel member, and thank you so very much for your continued support of the channel. And as always, after these videos, I want to thank each and every viewer who continues to show up, hit the like button on the videos, who are subscribed to the channel, and not just to my channel, but all of the channels who bring you some content with integrity and some honesty, and are not getting bribed or bullied to promote the narrative that the NBA won't promote it, that are not getting bribed or bullied to get on here and say, LeBron James, the second greatest player in the history of the game. Oh, what? How is he the second greatest player? How is he better than Kareem? Well, he's 4-6. He's been to so many finals. He has to be great, right? He's the all-time leading scorer. He has to be great, right? Oh, 2011. Well, we don't want to talk about that. But anyway, yeah. So shout out to everybody supporting all the real content creators. Shout out to Angry Old Hoops, Sports and Fitness Rents, Phenomenal Fitness, Too Raw for Sports, Dreamers Pro, Ticket TV, Uncut Hoops, Man Down Sports, Sports T, Brandon Love Sports, 93 Zay, and who else we got? Anybody else out there that I'm forgetting at the moment, but you guys know who they are. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about any of the topics we talked about. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.